Do you remember getting so excited for things that you used to have to circle them on a calendar? I'm not talking about doctor's appointments and things that you have to remember. I'm talking about the next big movie release at the theater, the next big rental coming out to the video rental store, your favorite TV show's season premiere coming on, or the big thing that everybody was watching that week that they were going to talk about next week at school or work. I haven't done that in years, and I don't really know anybody who does that anymore. Maybe vacations or something here and there where you're going to be off work. And I started really thinking about why that is. So I want to talk about the thing that has pushed that to the point that everybody kind of notices it, but nobody really talks about it or puts a name to it. It's why we don't get excited anymore. We don't get excited about TV or movies or anything in our shared culture quite the same way that we used to. And I don't think it's just nostalgia. Nostalgia plays a part, but that's not all of it. And I don't think there is one single villain here that you can point at and say, that's it, that's the specific thing. I think it's a few separate things that happened around the same time that have fed into each other until the whole feeling just went away and excitement kind of died. But we're going to talk about that and how to get it back. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. So I'm going to build a case because I think this is much bigger than things were better when I was a kid and I've grown up now and you've grown up now. That's the easy cop out. There is other things that are real objective issues. And one of them is the death of scarcity. Scarcity doesn't exist anymore. And then there is the death of the shared audience. That almost doesn't exist anymore, with some caveats that we're going to talk about. And then there is the whole discourse machine that runs through this platform and everywhere else. The whole clickbait nature of our culture that's made it genuinely risky to even say if you like something or don't like something. That can take out the excitement very quickly. And any of these things on their own, we probably just adjust and move on and continue to be just as excited and everything as we always were. But when you stack all of those things together, then the feeling kind of goes away and you see why. So let's start out with a simple one, because there used to be a gap, like a actual real gap between when you found out something existed and when you got to actually experience the something that you found out existed. You'd see a poster, maybe a movie trailer, and then you would see another movie and see that trailer again, and then you'd have to wait, sometimes for many, many months, not knowing much at all about it other than that trailer. And the not knowing, the anticipation was doing some real work in that situation because it was building something. Think about what that actually looked like day to day at that time. You had to be checking the TV guide. Yes, the TV guide to see when a movie was finally going to come on TV that you could watch for free, or maybe on like HBO or something like that. And otherwise, you were been waiting on that thing for like a year and it was finally going to air, right? That's a long time of anticipation and excitement of waiting. And then there was driving to the video rental store on Friday night, hoping that that one copy of the new release, there was just one left and you weren't going to get the fake out of the shell casing in front of the tape, and then the tape wasn't behind it. And, you know, they'd all been rented out. But all of that created excitement, right? And then you're standing in line at midnight with total strangers to see Star Wars or Jaws or anything like that. And really everyone on earth knew about the film and they wanted to see it. A movie could come out in theaters and not show up on video for the better part of a year and a half or more sometimes. I think it was like a year and a half or 2 years before Back to the Future ever got out of theaters and onto anything else. So none of that was convenient. And that was the point. it made you have to anticipate and get excited. So the weight wasn't standing between you in the movie, so to speak. It wasn't like something that was in the way. It was part of the experience. It built all of that excitement up. Now the marketing cycle starts a year out, and it doesn't stop. Every trailer gets broken down shot by shot. We do trailer reactions, all of that. And it feels like it's something you're getting excited about, but every casting rumor gets its own video before a single frame is shot. And by the time the thing actually comes out, you've already seen the best jokes, the best scenes. Everything has already been leaked. The plots have been leaked. The story synopsis already absorbed for 6 months, 8 months. Hot takes, good side, bad side of it, all of that before anybody has even seen the movie. There's no gap left to build anticipation and excitement. The truth is, we didn't necessarily just run out of good movies. That's part of the problem. We stopped making good movies, but we ran out of the silence and everything that builds those movies up for everyone who's going to watch them. But there's another part here that matters more, and I don't think anybody talks about it. I mean, take, for example, like when I was in high school. Everybody watched the same handful of things. Yes, this was the 90s, but you had Beverly Hills 90210, you had Friends, you had The Simpsons, you had Married with Children, you had these other shows, and like around my senior year or junior year, you had Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it was this cult hit. It didn't matter if you were a jock, a theater kid. I was actually both. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if you barely spoke to anyone else at your school. You knew what happened on the new episode because there was only a new episode 1 each week that everybody got hit with at the same time. That's not a small thing. That is the raw material of an entire shared culture that doesn't exist anymore. Because you'd spend half the week, the whole week since the last episode, waiting for Thursday night or Tuesday night, whichever night that your show came on, to get that next episode. You were building anticipation. Friends would talk about it, all of that. Monday morning, you'd walk down hallways. You had all kinds of gossip with your friends, but usually, you might talk about what was happening on 90210 or Friends or something like that. Were they on a break or not? The show wasn't just a show. It was an excuse to have a shared experience with your friends, with other people that you hung out with. And now think about how fractured that is now by comparison. Because now you have shows all over the place, right? Somebody's obsessed with some huge new show out there right now, and they genuinely cannot stop talking about it, thinking about it. It obsesses their thoughts. They are so into it, and maybe their best friend on earth has never even heard of it because it exists on a platform that they don't subscribe to. It's on Apple TV and they don't have it. It's on Netflix and they don't have it. Whatever it is, or maybe it's on old school TV and they don't watch it because all they do is stream anymore. That makes things very, very different. It's not, and I'm not talking about like friends across the country. I'm talking about the friend that you hang out with, that an actual friend that you do things with, that's on your football team or that you go to work with, whatever it is. And they've never heard of the thing that you like so much because there are like more shows than platform. There are as many different shows geared to you, targeted to you in an algorithm as there are people with smartphones out there. Content isn't the problem. Disposable content that doesn't connect with people is a big part of the problem. And it's not just which platform the show is already on. It's sequestered there. And it's not even just the platform. It's what the platform shows you when you're already on there. You might actually have the platform that their favorite show is on, and you've never seen it because the algorithm isn't sure you would like it based on what you have watched before. So you can't really discover it. Two people can open the exact same app at the exact same time and see two completely different homepages, different rows, different recommendations, a different trending now because it's all geared specifically to you. There's no single front page left anymore. Everybody's standing in the same store looking at completely different aisles, completely different products. We didn't just lose appointment television or appointment films. We lost the shared floor everybody was standing on to find them. And what makes that so bad is when you lose the shared floor that everybody is standing on, then you take away the reason for people to get excited in the first place. The whole reason anything felt good is because it was shared. It was something you enjoyed and you got to bring to life by talking with other people, with friends who shared and enjoyed those same things, because the excitement was never really about the show itself. I mean, we get into the shows, we have our fandoms, but it's getting to feel it and experience it and share that excitement with other people. And that is almost completely gone. So what's worse is if the excitement and the shared culture is gone to help create the excitement, the one thing that is left that still connects everyone to something and makes people notice it is outrage. It's actually more fracture, because if the shared floor is gone and nothing's naturally bringing millions of people out of their fractured little bubbles of algorithms into and bringing them back into the same room at the same time, all that does it anymore is clickbait. It's controversy. It's arguing. Watch what happens whenever there is something that is truly controversial anymore. And I don't even really have to reach very far for this example, because I've lived through it over the last couple of weeks. For about a week and a half with the Odyssey, everybody across every corner of this space, every political talk, every talk show, everything in the world is talking about the same thing. Different opinions for sure, and very loud ones, but the same thing. They're talking about the Odyssey, and that should tell you something uncomfortable. A culture war now is one of the only reliable things that is left to reassemble an audience into the same place that has been scattered and fractured across an infinite number of separate algorithms. That is not a good sign. That is a symptom of the problem. When outrage and controversy are amongst the few things that are left to bring everybody back to looking at the same screen, the same thing at the same time, the same conversations, you've built a culture now that runs on friction and negativity, because friction is the only fuel left now that expands and works at scale. And every time that happens, every time something is built on outrage, controversy, and arguing, it teaches the algorithm and it teaches Hollywood even more that controversy is the product. It teaches every news show that you watch that controversy is the product, which just accelerates this whole cycle that we have of less shared joy, less shared excitement, less shared anticipation, and more shared anger and arguing. And we're just going to rinse and repeat every single time. And I guess here is where it kind of gets personal given the last couple of weeks, because I've watched this happen in my comment section in real time. When I reviewed the Odyssey, I didn't rave about it. No, I didn't. I said the things that I liked about it. I said the things I didn't like about it. I said the things that I had a problem with objectively as a filmmaker and someone who taught ancient Greek history. And I went back and forth fairly. And I gave it a middle score, right? A middling score because of those things. And that's it. I gave an actual argument. I point out things, both sides of it. That was my whole crime, though, because now I still get called a hater. That's because if you don't love it, you're a hater. Not I disagree with your take based on this reason or this reason. Just you're a hater. You're a bigot. You're a whatever, because in this environment, in this culture that we've created, there's no room for a 5 out of 10. There is no room for the middle ground. You either loved it or you are a bigot. And there is no third option right now, because that is where people have set to their corners and their opinions. Then in the same week, I was super excited for I Play Rocky to come up. I saw this trailer. I was so excited for it that I did a video review for the trailer that can't even be monetized on this channel. I just did it because I wanted to share the positivity and my excitement. No really review, no analysis yet, just a guy who likes something and is excited about something that he was worried about wasn't going to look very good. And then I get called a shill. I get accused of being paid to hype that movie and to hate on the Odyssey. Me with, at this point, like 62,000 subscribers. Hollywood's not, they don't know I exist. They're not paying me for an opinion. But enthusiasm itself was treated as suspicious. Like, nobody's allowed to just like something and hope for something to be the best without assuming they're being paid for it. And then that is because of this culture that has run on friction. So many people have retreated to one side, one corner, or the other in order to protect themselves from that. So there are countless people who will say it's 10 out of a 10, not based on the movie itself, but based on it fits their ideology and they will be protected and fit into this bucket of people over here. And then there are people who will say it's 0 out of a 10 for the same reason, to fit and not get attacked by these people over here and be protected by these people in their bucket. In the middle is a very hard place to be. And Mr. Miyagi pointed this out a long time ago. Daniel, he said, Daniel, do you know karate? And Daniel says, I guess so. And he says, look, walk left side of the road safe. Walk right side of the road safe. Walk middle of the road, sooner or later, squish, just like grape. Right? That's what happens. So people go to one side or the other where they are safe in a bubble, and it takes away our shared culture and it fragments us even more. And the only thing that gets the people to come out of the corners to the middle of the ring is something that they can fight over, something that they can argue over. And at least in that moment, it unites everybody in focus on one thing, but all it does really is push the divide further apart. Under that system, under that culture, people aren't going to get excited about anything. They're going to check out. They don't want to be in the middle of it. The normies, the average people, they're like, I'm not going to give an opinion because I don't want to be called a shill or a hater or a bigot or told I'm stupid and don't know what I'm talking about and everything just for participating in going to see a movie. So they don't say anything at all. They don't get involved at all. They just check out and stay in their own bubble at home. And that further exacerbates the problem too. You can't have a shared culture built on excitement when the actual sort of entry fee for participation in that excitement or culture is being called a hater or a shill no matter what you say. And like I said, don't get me wrong, there are people who are shills and people who are haters for monetary reasons and for discourse reasons. That doesn't mean that sometimes their actual opinions don't line up with their shilldom or haterdom or whatever it is, but there is a reason why they do that. But the majority of people are not doing that. And they wouldn't do it unless they were pushed to one corner or the other. There are tons of those people. They gave it a 10 out of 10 so that they're safe over here with these people. And then they can attack those people with an army behind them. And there's people that gave it a 0 out of 10 because then they're safe with these people over here and they can attack these people over here with an army behind them. That's the fact. That happens. But there are countless people who just want to watch a damn movie and give their opinion and thoughts on it and talk about it the way we used to. But there is very little room for that anymore. And the honest answer is, it's not necessarily that the movies got worse. Largely, they have, because they have they have retreated to this corner to be safe and with this bucket over here. And they don't stay in the middle and just make enjoyable entertainment that everybody can get excited for. And it's not that we got older either. That's a cop-out. And it's not that we're just harder to impress or anything like that. The marketing killed the silence and anticipation that we used to have that built up the excitement in movies and everything else that we do, because everything is oversaturated. If the algorithm finds out that you like something, it's going to beat you to death with it. And then because of that, the algorithm killed the shared floor. You're standing in the same store, you're seeing a different product. And the discourse made it genuinely risky to even say your opinion out loud. Take away all three of those things, and of course the excitement goes away. It goes quiet. You built a machine that's absolutely actively hostile to excitement and fun. It thrives on controversy, anger, outrage, and getting people from over here and over here to fight in the middle of the ring. And those people who are in the middle of the ring, which is probably 80% of people, they're just getting run over by it. And the cycle just goes around and around in a circle now that never stops. When I said that I was excited about I Play Rocky, I got called a shill for it. I didn't walk it back. I meant it, and I still mean it. When I said that I think the Odyssey has these problems and was done for these reasons, I mean it. When I say that I like this part of the Odyssey and this part of the Odyssey, I mean that too. All right? Being excited about something or fairly critiquing something is fair in and of itself. And if you're just genuinely excited about something and you're out loud, you can be called naive and stupid and all of these things, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm here to tell you that there are more people in the middle of all of this stuff that just want to enjoy movies, and they're staying quiet because we're not allowed to get excited anymore. And honestly, I think that's exactly why a place like this one still works. When you show up here to talk about a movie from 30 years ago, like it happened yesterday, which I love to do, this is the shared floor. It's just smaller now, but it's growing. It's beating out the old media models. It's real. And nobody's grading you here on whether or not you loved it enough or hated it enough to qualify. We just get here and talk about the things that we love and talk about what we don't love about things as well. And there is a place for that still, and that still makes me excited. So tell me in the comments, what's the last thing that actually got you excited? No caveats, no hedging, no outrage, no any of that. Not defending your corner. What actually makes you excited? I want to hear it, and that's what I got for you this time. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, hype up the video. That helps out. And if you want to help support a little bit more, my Patreon link is in the description. We get into things like this all the time, and you'll get to see behind the scenes of my filmmaking and physical media reviews and so much more, and get your name on every single video in lights, and everything helps support the channel, and I really do appreciate it. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture. Stay excited out there. And I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.